Before we get into today's video, I'm gonna do a startup on this, and I just want to hear it. Yep. Woo! Woo! Oh, look at the rear view camera. That's pretty cool. I'm not really sure why the exposure is so bright on my camera right now, so I'm sorry, boys. I tell you one thing, it is a big vehicle. It is big, but I'm sure it's crazy. Whoa, seatbelt locks you in. That's kind of nice. All right. I still haven't announced what the car is. I'm honestly so hyped on it, I've decided not to yet. All right. I'm nervous to do a pull. But this would be the fastest car I've ever actually technically pulled. So the camera's kind of in a wonky position. I didn't really have a pure setup for this. I kind of just decided to just last minute do this. So let's just try it. Okay. Oh my God, it's popping. The camera's all messed up. Holy cow. All right. Let's go in position and let's get started. Boys, welcome back to another video. We're here at Cadillac Norwood, and today I was like, why have I never thought of this car? Why haven't I done it? Without further ado, we are taking a look and overviewing the 2023 Cadillac CT5 Blackwing. Look at this thing. Wow, this is a sexy car. So I really wanted to do this when I found it the other day and I thought of it. I was like, we got to do this because this is American muscle. I've actually never done an American, technically I have. I did the Ford Bronco Raptor, but beside the point, I've never really done an American muscle car, and this is the first one. And I'm like, well, I'm waiting for some things in the GTI. I'm thinking of some cars to do, and I think this one would be the perfect one to do. I mean, look at the rims. I mean, that is a copperish bronze finish with the maroonish cherry red. I mean, the thing is stunning. I'm happy they got rid of the CT5-V and they made it this, because this is definitely beefier, sexier, way more powerful, bigger motor. I mean, the thing is crazy. It is a big car, for one thing's for sure, but it's not massive. It's not as big as you may think it is. It looks kind of big on camera. It feels kind of big when you get in it because the steering wheel is so large. The 6.2 liter V8, 668 horsepower Cadillac CT5 Blackwing in the flesh. Look how pretty this car is. It makes absolutely no gas mileage on the road. 13 city, 16 highway, I believe. I could be wrong on that. This one has 14,000 miles. It is insane. Your supercharged V8. Weird to open the door though. You have to hit this little black button in the back of the door and then it opens for you. A little interesting. I was a little confused. Obviously you got carbon fiber everywhere. No flat bottom steering wheel, but not a big deal. Very plush thick steering wheel, carbon fiber trim here. I like the interior of this car. I think it's very cozy. Seats are very nice plush. I love the red seat belts. Obviously it's a track edition type car, so you're not going to get any kind of sunroof. I hate the screen, how it's slanted, kind of like the Mercedes-Benz C43. It was kind of slanted, very weird. I do like the camera there, and then when you put the car in reverse, you get another camera there. That is pretty nice. Big paddle shifters, which is nice. Very nice digital display. Wireless charging port there. I do like that they kept a shifter in this car, although it's kind of like a BMW one where you have to pull and push. Don't really love it. The keys are kind of like a GTI key. I don't know why they're making most keys like this now, but they are. It's interesting. So what I kind of want to do now is we're going to put it in V. Is that a V mode? Oh, look at this. So your engine, sound, suspension, brake feel. I don't know what PTM is. Can I use the dial to scroll on it? I don't know. Ooh, I don't know what I just did. If you hold it down. Oh, look at this. So, oh, it just changes the mode. So it puts it in V mode or Tour mode. So I can do V mode and then put it in track, snow, ice. You can do my mode, Tour mode, sport. This is track. It's very loud. Wow. Pops and bangs as usual for a supercharger. You can just hear the exhaust. Oh my God. Okay, let's hear how this car sounds, because it's insane. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a absolute monster of a car with so many different modes. I mean, the track mode, that's what I had it, and I had it in track mode. And you can hear the tone, because when it starts up, it starts in tour mode, and I put it in sport, and then I put it in track, and the tone is so different, super aggressive. This car is truly the epitome of American muscle. Honestly, it might beat out a Hellcat Charger or Challenger. It might beat out a Camaro Z01, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it definitely competes with those cars. It may not beat them out, potentially, I don't know. I haven't reviewed any of those cars yet. But it definitely competes with it at a very high level. It's definitely more luxury than the other cars. I think the other cars focus more on performance. This car focuses more on luxury and performance, which I kind of like, but at the same time, you know, maybe that's the reason why they don't win against their competitors, is because they focus more on luxury and less performance. But I mean, 668 horsepower and a supercharger, I don't really know if I'm complaining all that much with a little bit of luxury. I don't know. I don't complain all that much when it comes to it. I think that's perfect. So when it comes down to it, yeah, I think it really all kind of depends on what you like. I mean, have I ever loved Cadillacs? No, I never really looked into them. But I've always loved Camaros. And I think loving Camaros is the reason why I came here, because I love American muscle, especially Camaros. I really like vintage American muscle. But I figured, why not take a look at new American muscle? Because if I love a new Chevy Camaro, Z01 or SS, I think I'll love this, and I do. I mean, even though I just ripped it up the road for a quarter of a mile, if that, it sounded amazing, it felt amazing. The only thing I didn't love was how big the steering wheel is. So yeah, as you can see, the steering wheel is kind of big. Definitely not my favorite. I mean, the paddles feel nice and everything, but it's a huge steering wheel. Like, it's way bigger than a BMW steering wheel. Like, it looks like it should be in an SUV, but it's really in a sedan, and that's I'm not really a fan of it. Now, I get that as a bigger body car. I understand that, but at the same time, why does you have to have a giant body steering wheel? I don't really love that, but it's something that I could deal with. It's not a deal breaker. It's just something that I wish they had, maybe like a smaller flat bottom, like racing steering wheel, a track steering wheel. I think they went a little too luxury with this steering wheel, and then they tried to make up for it by putting these aggressive carbon fiber trim pieces on here, and it looks good. The only thing I will say though is it actually makes a V shape, which is very nice. So I kind of get where they were going there with the V badging right there. I mean, you're not hearing many cracks or creaks anywhere, so you can definitely tell it's been built pretty well. That's nice. I mean, for a year old, 14,000 miles on it, you would think maybe a little bit, but nothing. I mean, the car is holding up really, really well. You actually have a decent amount of space in your rear seats, which is something I would not have expected in this car. Also very plush and very comfortable seats. No one pieces, but I can deal without having the one piece because the car itself is just meant to be driven aggressively. This is what this car is. It's just one of those cars that's just meant to be driven hard and put on a track and just do whatever you want with it. We usually talk about German on this channel a lot. We don't typically talk about American muscle, but I've always kind of followed it here and there and just kind of wanted to, I'm trying to express it a little bit. I'm trying to see them really in person myself instead of just watching YouTube videos on it. I want to see them myself, and I'm getting a pretty good feel that they're pretty nice cars. And with no gas mileage in this car, you're basically only buying this car for the performance aspect. There's not much more you could really do to this car. Like, I mean, you could probably do a couple of things. Like, you can cam it, you know, I mean, you could put some crazy injectors in this thing. I'm sure you can do a 1,500, 2,000 horsepower build on it, but these cars are just built and meant to be the way they are. You know, I would cam it if I got it. I would cam this car all day and tune it. I would do anything I possibly could to it, but it's already got 670 horsepower, so like, how much more do you really need out of it? That's up to you. All right, so we're gonna put it in track because we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna put it in manual mode and we're gonna bring it over to the little strip. I have to align it with the other camera, so you gotta give me a second, boys. I love the rear cameras in this thing. Really, really good perspectives, I must say. One thing I really like about that is you do get a really nice perspective. But we get a small little strip to do something, man, just test out the car a little bit. I wanna make sure I align pretty well. I wanna get as far back as I can so I get a good enough pull. Here we go. All right, feels good. Feels good though. A lot of pops and bangs. Very nice. That was sick. So it's actually not as long of a strip as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it'd be a little bit longer, but all of a sudden you're at the end. Also, the car rips like crazy, but the car pulls, I mean, exceptionally well, I must say. I mean, one thing I will say is when you're kind of like going crazy off the line, it kind of has like a little bit of a lag at first, and then all of a sudden it shoots you. But when it shoots you, you feel that 600 horsepower, and it's like all of a sudden you're like thrown back. The car is smooth. I like the way it shifts, believe it or not, for not being a German car, I like the way it shifts. And I love the pops and bangs from this V8. I mean, it sounds pure, aggressive, just something I must say. Good job, Cadillac, because the CTS V8 I watched a lot of reviews on. Never got a chance to drive one of those, but I heard it was a pretty good car, but it lacked in some areas. This car doesn't lack in many areas. Like I said, the only thing I'd be a little concerned about is probably the large steering wheel. That I don't really love, and I don't really love the slanted screen, but that's interior stuff. Exterior of the car is perfect. I think it sounds great. I think it looks great. It's a very approachable vehicle. So right before we let this car go, let's take a quick dive into the 6.2 liter V8 supercharged motor. I mean, this thing is absolutely insane. Look at a massive intake right here. I mean, that's the biggest intake I think I've ever seen, right into the supercharger, right under the engine cover. The thing is crazy. This is a huge engine bay. I mean, holy cow. I mean, the brace bar right here, I mean, this is crazy. You got the V badging there on the undercarriage of the hood. Just a beautiful car, and with the hood open, it just looks even more stunning. Just one of those flat out American muscles. I like that they give you a little factory front lip too, and you can build an extension off of that to make it even crazier, which is awesome. It already has some of that aero on it, but you can add more. Like side skirts I probably wouldn't add anymore, but I would probably go with a crazy rear diffuser and a really crazy front lip to really jet it out, really make it as track as I can make it, and maybe add like a really nice big like carbon fiber wing on the rear. So I'd probably get rid of this factory wing right here and do a big massive duckbill that curls up with a nice carbon rear diffuser. The rear diffuser on this car, I will say though, is still very nice for what it is for factory. And I do like the squared tips, kind of like a Mercedes-Benz kind of vibe, Mercedes-AMG kind of vibe. I kind of like that. Overall, this car has been a pleasure to overview, take a look at, drive around a little bit and have fun. Just an amazing car. What do you guys rate it? I give this thing like an 8.5 out of 10. Almost perfect, but not 100%. I do love it. I do recommend taking a look at it, but I don't know if it's worth $90,000 to $100,000. I think it's worth a little bit less, maybe 65 to 75. But I get why, because of the 6.2 liter V8, so I understand why they would make it that. But at the same time, what do you guys think of this car? Would you guys come take a look at it? Would you guys recommend it? Let me know in the comments. All right, boys, that is going to end today's video. We're gonna do one more in sport mode as we go back. Do a little POV of it. Do a little mini. Wow. The seatbelt really hugs you tight. You can tell it's a track car. The seatbelt really hugs you. Pretty cool. I didn't even do anything crazy there. All right, boys. And that is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed the Cadillac CT5 Blackwing as much as I did, because this car was amazing. Thank you to Cadillac Norwood for allowing me to test out this vehicle. It was amazing. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, boys.